Okay, y'all, so in one of my last videos I talked about the unfillables. Okay. Oh, who just cashed out to me? Oh, okay, somebody just paid. Okay, but anyway, I want to talk about the unfillables, right? So we were I mentioned the unfillables in my last video, and I was like, let me see which one of these, low vibers is going to try to steal my word, right? Because as we know, low P try to steal every little thing that I say and literally try to steal my identity. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden you Native American, all of a sudden you're a light worker, all of a sudden you doing parasite clean. Everything I talk about, she tries to, you know what I'm saying? I cannot stand a damn narc because they don't have their own identity. And people that they admire and hate at the same time, that's who they try to become, and it's just ridiculous, okay? But she's an unfillable, by the way. So I want to talk about the unfillables. That was all the energy that she was going to get, okay? You know what I'm saying? The unfillables are the narcissists, okay? The ones who cannot be, they are insatiable. They're like pouring into a bottomless pit. Now, the reason I want to talk about them is because I stream on another app, and I had gotten into like a little debate with there was like nine people on the panel, and I was the only one, you know what I'm saying, like going against everybody else. Okay, so it was kind of like my dream about the time of change, and all the other people were possessed. Okay, and that's basically what the ratio of like narcs to empaths is right now. So this one guy who was on the panel, he was talking about how he had a master's degree in something, I don't know. And he thought that, that automatically was going to make me feel like, his information trumped my information. You know what I'm saying? When I study this extensively, all of my life, I have studied human nature from, from the spiritual perspective. And so, you guys know that my take on it is from a spiritual perspective, that, narcissism is a spiritual affliction, and this is what I teach. And so, if it's demonic activity, then the only thing that's going to save you, okay, from these demons is God, okay? Which is why the field of, psychology, psychiatry, the medical field altogether has absolutely nothing to treat or cure a narcissist, to heal a narcissist, okay? They can't do none of that. They have nothing. All they know how to do is identify one and tell the folks around them to get away from them, okay? And so, so he basically tried to bring up how, they did bring up spirituality. What you teaching ain't new. Well, if they had came up with the theories of spirituality, hundreds of years ago, or 50 to 90 years ago, whatever you're talking about, why hasn't it been effective? Because still today, narcissism is running rampant and even growing even more. And you know what I'm saying? And this person that I was arguing with, he admitted, talk about he used to be a narcissist. If you used to be a narcissist, honey, you're still one. Okay. And so, you know what I'm saying? If you used to be a narc, then you're still a narc, okay? And, he exhibited that by basically wanting to throw up his, his degrees and, name dropping, Carl Jung and all these different psychiatrists who've talked about the spiritual aspects of, narcissism or whatever. And, these people were probably narcs too, okay? Because like I said, the majority of the world are narcissists. And right now I'm noticing a lot of people who are narcissists. Like there was 2 men on that panel who admitted that they were narcissists. Like one of them was literally, his name of his channel was called Abusement Park. Okay. And then his wife was in the chat, and she kept trying to trigger me too, talking about she hurt. Honey, ain't nobody hurt, okay? That, I got ghosted like 2 years ago, honey. My mind, that is not, what I'm hurt about is the fact that, I deal with women every other day who are still going through this because, the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was to convince people that he didn't exist. So I got all these people in the chat who are, of limited awareness about the spiritual reality of the narcissist, arguing with me because they're where I used to be, where I used to believe that everybody belonged to God. and that everybody could be saved. Okay, they haven't really come across the true knowledge of good and evil yet. Okay, they haven't eaten of the tree. Okay, so they don't know, you know what I'm saying, how diabolical that a narcissist can be. So they sitting here arguing with me, talking about everybody belongs to God, and that's what brought me to this video today, the Unfillables. Okay, they are very, very mistaken. Everyone does not belong to God. Okay, and that's the thing that I need to really point out to people, especially people thinking that they are going to save or heal a narcissist. Okay, what you have to understand is that, let me go back, I don't know what scripture it is, but I will post the scripture in the description box once I get home. Okay, the scripture about the wheat and the tares. I need to bring you back to that scripture to remind you about the tares, okay? Because the narcissists equal the tares, okay? So the scripture about the wheat and the tares was basically God sent the gardeners out there to, well, let's say this, God planted the seeds. God was the gardener. And then he had people that were, you know what I'm saying, was supposed to pick the wheat after he, you know, basically the story is that God planted the seeds, okay, for the wheat, which represents his people in this world, okay? And then after he planted the seeds for the wheat, the enemy came and planted his seeds right next to God, because that's what the devil does. Look at Low P over there trying to steal my whole identity and literally swipe the words out of my mouth, okay? You know, if you notice all narcs, that's what they do. They mimic other people. They steal other people's identities. They steal other people's energy, okay? And they try to become other people, okay? They wear masks. They try to mimic the children of God, okay? And so basically the story was that, you know, the gardener planted the seeds, which was God, and then the enemy came and planted his seeds right next to God's seeds. And then the people went out there who were supposed to harvest the wheat, and they noticed that the tares were there. The tares look just like the wheat, except they have no true value. You know what I'm saying? And so God told the gardeners not to pull up the tares right away, because it would uproot the wheat that he had planted as well, and therefore allow them to grow side by side until the time of the harvest. Okay, so until, you know, so again, the tares represent the narcissists represent the tares, okay, and the wheat would be, you know, God's anointed ones and his prophets, okay, God's people. So God told the gardeners that wait until the harvest and then you can pull them all up together. But what you're going to do is separate them. You're going to bundle up the tares and throw them over there, because I'm going to burn those. And you're going to bundle up the wheat and put them in the barn, because I'm going to use those, okay? So this is a parable, okay? I easily decipher parables, because I have always, since I've been born, seen in the spirit, okay? Which is why somebody's degrees that came from the Matrix, you know, that's not going to trump what I see in the spirit, okay? And so he was like, you know, basically this person was a narcissist. This is the way that the conversation ended. He ended the conversation by saying, you know what, I respect you or whatever, which he didn't, but he was like, I don't even know if he said he respect me. He basically said, you know, I think you're really smart or whatever, but I think you hate men, okay? And I think that you are a narcissist, and I think that, what did he say, you hate men, you're a narcissist, you've probably been in a whole bunch of relationships where men have abused you, which was a lie, okay? I've been in one narcissistic relationship and I was never physically abused, okay? But you know, that's neither here nor there. This was how he ended the conversation, right? By saying his little things that he had to say, and while he was saying it, he had his hand on the button like Nature Boy, so that when he got done saying what he had to say, he could hurry up and leave the room. Now, had I been in his chat, he would have muted me a long time ago, okay? But since he was in my room, he had to hurry up and exit himself out so that he could have the last word, like every narc. That's what they do. They'll say what they got to say, because they need to have the last word, especially when they're arguing, because a narc can't handle the truth. And once they realize that they're not going to win the argument, then they find some way to have their little last word and then run out, okay? So that's basically what he did. And so he proved to me that he was a narc, like he had told me that he was. But another thing is that another man who was in the room had been there the whole time and basically was agreeing with him. Now that it's just me and him in the room, he admits, yeah, a narcissist, you know, in a relationship with a narcissist, that can be some deadly shit. Okay, so if you know this, then how are you arguing with me about me being an advocate for the victims? You know what I'm saying? For the survivors of a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? The people who have literally danced with the devil and won, okay, their own soul, which he was trying to take, okay? Now, the whole time you've been sitting here arguing with me and disagreeing with me, but then when it's just me and you in the room, you want to admit that, yeah, you know, them narc entanglements can be some deadly shit. Okay, well, if you know it's deadly, you know, are you saying it's deadly because of the person that they're abusing or the people that they're abusing? Because sometimes it's their whole family. Or is it deadly because of the narcissist? And if you admit that it's deadly because of the narcissist, then why are you arguing with me? Okay, these people are narcs they damn self. Okay, they probably the one that is in a relationship that make it deadly. Okay, so you know, the unfillables. And the reason why I call them unfillables is because, you know, an empath will come into a relationship with these people in whatever capacity that they have a relationship with a narc, and they will begin to try to fill them up with their love, because an empath is filled to the brim with love and light. And we realize that these people are filled to the brim with darkness, and we try to think we're going to heal them by giving them our light. And then, you know, you realize that you can give them light for years and years and years, and they still, it's like insatiable, because your light is being poured into a bottomless pit, the abyss. This is the energy that these people carry within them, the energy of the abyss. It can never be filled, right? And so after years and years of doing this, an empath usually, you know, realizes this, and, you know, if they're smart, they will withdraw their energy. They will get off of that cycle of hypnotic rhythm, okay, and leave the narcissist going insane, going around in circles, okay? So I just, you know, the unfillables, the thing is, there are people who really still believe that everybody out here belongs to God. Y'all don't understand that the tares are real. Okay, and everybody out here does not belong to God, okay? If you cannot connect, because being an empath, most empaths, we realize it after a while, because an empath, our energy naturally reaches out to another person to try to find something to connect with. And with a narcissist, you don't find anything to connect with, okay? There's nothing, because they're empty inside, okay? So they don't have the same spirit in you that you have in them. And so I need people to realize and recognize that these are the unfillables. These are the tares, okay? And so, you know what I'm saying? It just amazes me. And then not only that, there was also a couple people who were in the chat, okay, who are actually dealing with narcissists, but because they are empathic, they probably just didn't want to argue with these people, because I was arguing with all of them, okay? It was me against 8 other people in the chat who were calling me narcs and all this stuff, okay? One person did speak up and was like, I don't care, she holding her own against, you know, all of y'all, and y'all really ain't talking about nothing, okay? And they're not, because most of these people were narcissists themselves, okay, including Abusement Park's wife, who was in the chat constantly trying to keep saying stuff to me. She had said over about 50 times, she hurt, to the point where I had to say, girl, why do you keep addressing me? Like, I heard you when you said it the first 10 times, and you're still not going to get any more energy out of it than what you got. Like, you're trying to trigger me into a vibe that don't even exist in me, okay? But what you're doing is called hypnotic rhythm, because you have said the same damn thing over about 50 times, and you're not going to get a different reaction, honey, okay? So you're kind of leaning over into insanity, okay? But I guarantee you that she was probably being abused by that man right then and there, because when you are in that narcissistic relationship, and you know what I'm saying, she admitted it. She was in the chat talking about, my husband is a narc, because I said, well, why don't you tell him to come on up on the panel? And she was like, he is on the panel. Abusement Park was her husband, okay? So he probably is, you know what I'm saying? He even admitted himself that he was a narc, but then turn around and say he teach about narcissism. So just beware, you guys, because these narcs are out here imitating the empaths, trying to teach about narcissism when you still a narc your damn self. And then, like I said, when you're in a relationship with a narc like that, your energy, you know, you're absorbing their energy. So of course you're going to start exhibiting those traits as well, because that spirit has infiltrated yours, okay? And so, you know, again, I just wanted to remind people who seem to think that everybody out here, because they look like us, that everybody belongs to God. No, I want to refer you to the parable of the wheat and the tares, okay? The wheat belong to God. The tares belong to the enemy, and they represent the people in this world, okay? So, you know, if you're not cognizant, if you're not aware of the tares, then you're going to be out here trying to save narcs, wasting your time and energy. The tares, the narcissists came to kill, steal, and destroy, okay? That's their purpose, and that's their only purpose, okay? And anyone who's dealt with them firsthand knows this, okay? So nobody can come to me with no textbook definition of what a narcissist is and think that that's going to trump what I see with my spiritual eyes, okay? I have studied human nature for 50 years, okay? You know what I'm saying? And so nobody's going to be able to trump what I know and what I see in the spirit unless you can show me where you've actually healed a narc, okay? Otherwise, you're just talking out the side of your neck, and as far as I'm concerned, you're one of the tears, okay? One of the unfillables, okay? So I just wanted to come back and remind you guys of the unfillables. Don't try to fill them up, because all you're doing is wasting your time and your energy, okay? And again, the parable about the wheat and the tares that I'm speaking of, I will post the scripture in the link in the description as soon as I get home, okay? Because it's very important that you understand that everybody out here is not a child of God, okay? There are a lot of tares out here. In fact, it seems to be more tares out here than the actual wheat, okay? And again, the wheat represents God's people and the tares represents the devil's co-workers, okay? Peace.